owed last season. So if he was coming up against time here, I'd be like, well, yeah, maybe this isn't his season. But he has definitely a good shot here. And we are on our first map. And here,
romanticide.
Yes, in the bottom right. This is XY. Representing Invictus Gaming.
And in the top left, currently teamless apparently. Hopefully that changes. This is Firefly. Apparently his AKA is Night Butterfly.
I can see the translation there.
So beautiful.
Or would a night butterfly be a moth?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Or is a night butterfly literally just a firefly?
Could be.
Because fireflies are like similar to moths in that they're like not that fast and kind of easy to catch. That's why people have jaws.
Are they actually like moths? I've never seen one. I thought they were like a beetle. Yeah.
They are like they're a little what do you call it? A little chunkier than your regular fly. They have like a bigger thorax, or the bigger backside. Not the thorax. Whatever the backside is. Is that the thorax? No.
I don't know science, man.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the parts of the bug. I'm sorry, guys. There's a bug expert out there that's just like, oh my god, I can't believe he doesn't know. And it's like, you know, they work in the industry 60 hours a week. But yeah, they're a bit slower. So I have seen fireflies in person before. They're very easy to catch if you really want one. They fly low. They hang around head height. Easy catch.
Very cool. All right.
Reaper expand here from XY. Firefly going for the shield battery nice and early there, so you can send the adapter across the map and not have to worry about losing probes to the Reaper.
Waiting to see that tech choice here for Firefly. And it is going to be the Twilight. Okay, I was going to say, we saw Blink as the weapon of choice on the last map with Jaishi. And it didn't go so well, but I mean, it's obviously a solid opening, still great to do. So how is this going to match up against what XY is going to be thrown out?
Well, at the moment, the build looks pretty normal, but he is hiding the factory here. Not putting it next to the reactor, which means, you know, we're not going to go for Hellions or anything like that. He may get one, but usually with the tech lab being rushed like this, it means that, you know, we're either going straight into tanks or into Cyclones, and I'm assuming tanks. Most Terrans want to get on their tech lab factory early game at TVP. Oh, the switcheroo! I stand corrected. Oh man. Hello, Dark Shrine.
It was only a matter of time, Maynard.
Yeah, you know what? It has been a whole 20 hours since I've seen a 2-base Dark Shrine Zeph. I feel like I knew there was something missing. And the Reaper gets killed as well. Good zoning from Firefly. Weirdly enough, for XY, if he was making a Raven right now, I'd be like, oh, cool, this is like a super good game for the Terran. But because of his choice to go Cloak Banshee, which normally would be very good against early game Protosses, it's not looking good on paper at the moment for the Terran, build order-wise.
Yeah, because of course, right after that Warp Prism, you have the Observer queued up. Now it's related across the map, but that is vision for you, should you need it. And we'll have to see how much they can get on each other sides of the map. Firefly going to be the first one to arrive here with that Warp Prism. Warping some DTs. The depth's still shading. Trying to keep tabs on what's going on at the Terran base. I don't think he has any indication that he's getting Bansheed either.
Yeah. I mean, the Banshees are going to do damage for sure, but I am very worried about these DTs. What's the scan energy looking like? He does have a scan. There's a scan here.
Ugh, the Warp Prism Micro going to be so annoying for XY here. Now it's going to split the DTs up to make this even more difficult, and he will definitely start racking up some kills here. It's unavoidable. The question is, can Can XY minimize damage? The one in the main has been dealt with. 7 workers going down so far, but the one in the natural remains.
Well, he's only lost 9 so far. When I say only 9, I mean, like, you know, normally a DT build like this could kill 30 SCVs and just win you the game. But XY is, you know, 11 workers down, which sucks, but he still has the potential in this Banshee and also has 3CC. So SCV production is something that he's not lacking.
This Banshee is shaping up to be a bit of a non-event, unfortunately, so he's not going to be finding any revenge for his fallen SCV brethren at this point in time. May have to save that for later. Come back another time when Firefly is more distracted, or when he needs to distract Firefly, rather. But yeah, with the shield battery and stalkers and observer, he's really not going to be able to find too much damage there at this point. And he's just gone straight on into the third base here, has Firefly.
As the extra production comes down for Firefly, he'll start to print the gateway units. We're seeing the 4 gas coming in for the Protoss. Oh my god, that is a mistake from Firefly. And things turning around for XY. Getting the Prism and the Archon. That is, you know, hundreds of minerals in that Prism. And a couple hundred gas. Just shy of 300 gas for that Archon. It's the cheaper Archon. It's not 300 gas like 2 High Templars, but still expensive. A good pick-off for the Terran.
Very well done. Getting his own +1 on the way as well. Of course, he's going to be behind the Protoss, but he is looking to secure that third base. Getting a bunker or 2 out here to help defend as well, just in case Firefly starts to pressure. Yeah, I was going to say, do you really need 2 in that spot?
Yeah, like, I feel like the most effective bunkers are usually the ones that are pressed up against something, so they don't have surface area around them. But then again, these are more repairable because you can surround them. So, in a plus side, like if you're faster with your SCVs and you pull the trigger really quick, you can repair them better than Charizards can surround them and destroy them. Shadow Stride being researched there in the Invisible Man clubhouse.
All right.
The flaming eyes of the trio of invisible men. The Mount Rushmore of invisible men in the Dark Shrine.
I suppose that those bunker placements also allow XY a really easy spot to fall back to, because you will inevitably end up starter stepping backwards if he's going for a big attack into that third base, and you're just going to lift that third run and try and pick off what you can, especially because charge lots are in the mix, right? So you sort of have to chip away at it. You can't really just run straight in and stim and stand there. And more Zealot Warpins are starting to come in as Firefly secures a 4th and starts to round out this army. Robo and Robo Bay coming in.
And as you can see with the worker production of XY, Firefly's kind of cut probes for the most part. He's now getting another round out, going up to 75. Maybe he might go beyond that, but the Terran is catching up in workers. He was behind, like, you know, 14 or so, and is now only behind 10 after being behind, you know, that many. Good comeback as far as economy goes. 4th Nexus is about to finish up at 12 o'clock there for the Protoss. Double Forge as well. Is the Terran just on 1 engineering bay for now? I have a sneaking suspicion he might be. And if that's the case, then he's gonna be pushing it uphill for fighting upgrade to upgrade. Oh, hello. With these, okay, now I'm a fan of these bunkers with these depots in this entrenched location. This is very good against Protosses that just have the attack gland. You know, there's some Protosses out there that just can't help themselves. They see an incredibly entrenched location. They're like, part of me is telling me not to attack, but 90% of me is screaming, go.
Yeah, now it makes absolute sense. And he's making the 4th CC. It looks like his strategy here is turtle the hell up. Don't even do anything. Don't even think about doing anything. Let him come to you. Let him make the mistake of trying to attack into this ultra fortified position, because XY is just sitting here getting his econ up to where he needs it. And if he just wants to sit back the whole time, he will eventually catch up on those upgrades as well. Don't know about securing this 4th though, because he's going to have to leave his little cocoon of safety over here.
I don't know, man. This army has metamorphosed into something more powerful than it was before. Well, it looks like the prisms died. I think it may have died to the turret there, but 11 SCVs did die to the disruptors, and they did get recalled. And this army of XY is actually very beefy. Like, there is tier 3 Robo here, and Firefly is heading towards, I'm assuming, carriers. He's got a fleet beacon down. But the ground army of XY if it doesn't get annihilated by disruptors, is way more powerful than Fireflies at the moment.
Disruptors make it a little bit difficult for him to engage, of course, but Firefly commencing this attack by just taking some pot shots off at those initial structures there. He's got DTs at the ready to swoop into this base at the same time as he goes in, I imagine. More tanks come in. Gosh, this is actually a really scary position to attack into now that he's moved everything down here. I don't know how much success he'll have trying to A-move in.
Now the DT Shadow Stride past the bunker and get into the mineral line, actually deleting the turret. Scans from the Terran to try and pick off those DTs, which you will get, but not before losing a ton of SCVs. Nova's coming in, getting rid of 3 tanks there. And the Terran picks off 1 disruptor, so the trade's there. Very good for Firefly, but XY keeping a very healthy army supply lead over the Protoss. So while this is good damage, the army of the Terran at the moment is still very strong. XY's being like painfully passive here.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe you should just pick up and go. That army can't handle his army. It's standing here and being a distraction, but Firefly is actually doing the damage by going around, sending DTs, making a War Prism, and because XY is turtling so hard, he's just expanded twice more. So while XY turtling up to get back onto a nicer economic foothold into this game, he's just he will kind of lose it just by getting out expanded and out harassed here if he doesn't do anything.
Does seem likely. Shadow Strike being used defensively here, and actually picking off things like the sensor tower and getting rid of turrets is it's costing the Terran money, but it's also very annoying. You know, XY wants to not have to worry about things like this. Okay, these DTs are dead.
Yeah.
And he wants as much map control as he can because he's not leaving his base. So that sensor towers are giving him like that extra, few centimeters of minimap for him to look at. Imagine not having that sensor tower at the 4th base. He had to remake it like 3 times at sensor tower. He's lost the disruptors. Big attack at the 4th. Tank's getting a few volleys off, so Firefly taking some damage for free. Triple Nova. See, if 3 Novas fire out, I grab my army and go. Because now those disruptors don't fire.
Or at least I'd like to see some drops or something out here, because he has no vision of these bases that are being taken either. If he paths something across the top, he would see it. Maybe he drops off on the way and stims down some probes or tries to snipe the Nexus, whatever. But he's got to get something done. Perhaps this force down to the lower side can swing around. I think it's going to get horribly intercepted in a second.
Yeah, I mean, XY is trying to pick a different angle, and so is Firefly. He's like, all right, this attack at the 4th base is just, I'm beating my head against the wall here. Let's find a new angle. And that's giving XY early notice to this attack, but he doesn't seem to be responding very quickly. His tanks are not going to be here for the first few seconds of this engagement. Now they're coming in.
Yeah, this is still a tricky position to attack into for Firefly. There's a lot of SimCity. There's still a tank line, and finally XY is going to move in and start doing some damage, and he finds 2 of the targets, making the carriers. Wow. That's a really important scout as well.
I wonder why Firefly thought to put his carriers production out here. Like, there's a lot of main left to make those Stargates. Prism gets the interference matrix seed. Well done there. DT is also getting picked off because the Raven's here. He scans just to have a look at the Disruptor army. He sees the Disruptor army. I mean, with the carriers, though, he kind of has to leave. He doesn't have a whole lot of anti-air against those interceptors. But can he leave? I guess the answer is not really. Oh, he's rallying in. He thinks he can take the interceptors. Maybe he can. Marine's coming in. Ghost actually strangely well enough. Not too bad against dealing with interceptors. They have a lot of hit points. Good sort of single target damage.
No interceptors left. But there's the charge lots to help clean this up, and he's going to have to regroup. It'd be really nice to start maybe hitting a couple locations at this point if he has the medevacs to do it, because the carriers have to stay together, right? They can't be in multiple places at once. But yeah, XY finally getting a little bit of action there. But ultimately he is still back on his 4 base, regrouping his army, and Firefly sitting there on 6 base.
What is, if you can help me here, Mr. Observer, what is the splash damage potential of the Protoss? What disruptor count are we looking at now after that scuffle? So I have a feeling the Protoss is forgetting splash damage right now. He's got 2 disruptors. Zeph, that's not enough. If Firefly goes really ham on marine production and more ghosts, there is actually a world where the carriers just get deleted. Because they are no good without splash damage to support them. You need Storm, you need Colossus, you need more disruptors than that.
DTs will do the job.
They sure will.
Dead. RIP. Some of the DTs do get out there as well, and this base is being denied at the same time. XY having a little bit of trouble bouncing between those two locations because Firefly just hasn't let up on the third. He's done a great job with that harassment. 20 workers, and he's not done. He's back immediately for
more. The
more.
DTs are never done. They're never done. They do not get full. They have infinite potential of worker damage. Finally do go down, but there's still 2 more where that came from, waiting for their chance to shine. And there's a DT and a charge lot blocking this attempt at the expansion for XY. And I'm pleased to see that Firefly's remembered, oh yeah, I want my carriers to survive. I don't want Marines to just 1A my carriers to death. So making disruptors is very, very important here for the Protoss to actually win a fight against the Terran's big bio army.
Looks like XY is back on the turtle train. He's not moving out. He's kind of stuck. He doesn't have the most confidence, I feel, to try and get out here and do some damage. He's got limited medevacs as well. Oh, those tanks are dying.
Oh, yeah. EMPs on the carriers try and soften them up there as the Terran just goes for as big a concave as they can get and for as many bio units as they can get. It feels like Firefly's done the math and he thinks he's got enough interceptors to win this engagement, and he might just be right as the Marines get really thinned out here. And plus to attack carriers, man. They just roll through, and thanks to the disruptors, thanks to the Archons, there is just not enough bio to fight this back at all.
No. He's losing more and more workers. All that economy that he worked so hard for to turtle up, to get nice, big and strong, and he wasn't able to utilize it in the end. Great harassment from Firefly. Great engagements towards the end there too, and he will take game number 1.
Certainly will. GG. All right. Firefly yet to lose a map to XY in this tournament so far. Obviously, they traded series last season, back in winter, so back in October 2020. But this tournament, their rivalry, all Firefly-sided. XY needs to pull up his socks, figure out what's wrong with this matchup for him, and find a way to beat this kid, or he's going to be sent packing.
Yeah, rough start for XY. Couldn't get a scout off. Got DT'd. And when he went in with his cloaked Banshee hoping to do some damage, he just got nothing done. I don't even know what happened to that Banshee, but he really never got to harass the Protoss, slow him down. This was his biggest attack, and while it provided some valuable information and he sniped a Stargate, he traded a little bit with the army as well, but I feel like he really missed a couple of opportunities to pick up and go, and we were sitting there watching him being like, hey, the disruptors just went off. Maybe now's the time, because you can't just sit back the entire game. At some point, you do have to try and get in there and attack.
I don't know if it's this matchup. I don't know if it's this unit. But damn, Zeph, every time we see DTs lately, last 2 weeks, abroad in Korea, we've been seeing it in Alima League, we've been seeing it in GSL, we've been seeing it for the Taiwan season, we've seen it for the Oceanic region as well, rest of Asia. These DTs are putting in work. Those invisible men have never looked better. They always are finding damage and always finding unaware victims in all these games. It's pretty incredible, actually.
Yeah, certainly. They're collecting a lot of Terran tiers out there, and I can understand why, too, because it's just the damage output is actual insanity. Especially once the Protoss has that much income like they did, like Firefly did in that game, 6 bases, probably going up to 7. Plenty of economy to just spam DTs and then throw them at something, and it's going to evaporate. Yeah. Mineral line, CEC, static defense, whatever you want. So yeah, that's a rough one. XY going to have to go back to the drawing board here and hope for at least a better early game so that he has some sort of a shot in the mid game.
I mean, Romanicide's a bit of a tough game, a bit of a tough map, rather, to just sit back and turtle, because the Protoss will just take it. It felt like XY's plan of just sitting back and hoping that Firefly got too impatient was flawed. And hopefully XY has a different plan for him. Hopefully that's not just how he plays this matchup and he comes back to Firefly with something a little bit stronger than that. Otherwise, this will be our second 2-0 for the evening. We're going to take a short break. When we return, can XY put a map on the board, potentially even turn it around? Tune in and find out. G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back. Sorry about the short break there, but rest assured, just video games for the next short while. We're going to have ourselves game number 2, and I don't know, Zeph, what do you think? Does XY have what it takes? Does he have the stones to take a map off Firefly here? Can he turn it around and get a 2-1 victory? You picked him.
I did pick him.
This is your boy. This is your boy. You have to convince me. You have to convince everyone right now that XY is going to win this series.
That's a tough
job.
No
pressure.
After that first game, okay, that first game was a mess. I would love to see him have a more normal early game where he doesn't lose a zillion SCVs, and his harassment does more than 0 damage. And then we'll see. But definitely that first game is worrying. It doesn't really bode well for his ability to come out on top in this series. So perhaps my prediction is not the best one this time around.
No, Zeph.
But I think he could definitely even it up. I'm not counting him out by any means. But if we're solely judging off that first game, Firefly was in control that whole time.
Yeah, I think that's one of those games where if you're XY, you put it to bed. Like, you have that game and you're like, all right, forget game 1. You know, erase it. It never happened. Game 2 is my fresh new game. I got my fresh command center. I got 12 fresh brand new SCVs come out of the shop ready to mine for me. And let's turn this into that victory with a brand new plan. Because game 1 on Romanticide, it really felt like XY didn't know what to do. He just sat there. You know what I mean? And that's not, you know, you need to be assertive. You know, you got to be confident. You got to get out there. The world's not going to give you things. You need to take it. And XY, you got to do that in your TVPs.
Yeah, I agree. I respected the decision to turtle there, but then he got what he needed and he didn't use it for anything other than to get buffeted by the Protoss, DT harass, War Prism harass, whatever. So hopefully a little bit more activity from this man in the top right on map number 2 here. This is XY. Victus Gaming.
Huge brand for StarCraft 2 and also for esports in general in China. Previous international winners as well in the Dota scene. In the bottom left here, in the blue though, currently teamless but still looking damn good. This is Firefly.
And we've given a lot of love to the teams popping out of the Chinese scene for supporting not only players in the Chinese region, but branching out, snagging a lot of those great Korean players as well. And another interesting thing happened overnight, Main. I don't know if you wrote about it, but we had Psystorm absorbing the roster of Exen. So that's pretty cool as well.
I actually did see that this morning. I was like, oh, nice. Seeing some brands come together. I mean, more teams the merrier, but seeing those brands come together is sick. Very excited to see that. Yeah. Well, I hope for more and more news like that. I'm a big fan of the teams that support the StarCraft game, and also, you know, teams that have come and gone. You know, Junior Green Wings isn't still a thing, but I think that's super awesome how dedicated they were to StarCraft 2. Like, during a full lockdown as an airline to still retain its esports teams for so long after the fall of Kespo. Like, Jin Air just loved StarCraft. They loved League. They loved the esports and the teams, and they offered so much support for those teams for so long that it truly was. It felt like the last remaining bastion in Korea for StarCraft 2. But then the Chinese teams have come around and actually sort of injected life again into the Korean scene, because they picked up a lot of these Korean players, you know, like Dragon Phoenix Gaming, like Kaisi Gaming. They've come around and said, hey, you know, come join us. We've got some pretty nice salaries. We've got some pretty shiny looking Guernseys. Put our t-shirt on, win some tournaments, and look at that, they did.
Yeah, for sure. I think it also helps having teams that are in fairly close proximity to you, so you're not separated from the rest of the team geographically. Yeah. Nice find there by XY.
Yeah, seeing that early pylon, getting the probe kills, this is all good stuff, XY. This is looking like aggression from Firefly. I mean, you could also do that thing where you show a pylon and your Terran locks things down thinking that they're under attack, but then you just do nothing with it. It is only a pylon, it's only 100 minerals. Losing the probes is just as much damage as that, even in fact more damage. Oh, nice delay on the natural command center though. Good usage of this adept for Firefly.
So cheeky. And that adept will get out of there as well. Not sure if it'll have too much luck doing much more, but always there for the shades. And now it has a friend. This Hellion's going to come out, double check that spot up there where he killed the probe before, just in case Firefly was feeling super bold and was going to drop a structure there.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure that there was no gateway there, basically. And with no gateway, I think that he's breathing a sigh of relief. So, all right, I'm not going to attack. I think the Shade of the Adept is seeing the factory, though. And the factory without an add-on, it's one Hellion coming in. And it's very common for Terran to go one Hellion and then into a Witter Mine. So I think just seeing that factory without an add-on and a single Hellion in the mineral line, you know as Firefly that a Witter Mine drop is coming next. So the Void Ray is going to be very useful here.
See how he goes. I wonder if he's going to follow up with the Glaives here. This is a build he did against Time as well, opening Void Rays, hopping into heavy Adept pressure, even getting Glaives at that point, and doing just really harassment heavy play. Now it was against Time, so unfortunately it didn't really work out, but he definitely got a bunch of damage done.
Certainly. XY actually investing a fair bit of marine coverage here to go out and pick up that pylon. We do have an air unit flying into the main base here. The Void Ray just running into the main of the Terran. While the Marines are out, the Void Ray will play. The Viking lives, though, flies over the mineral line. The SCVs top it up. Here comes that Widowmine drop. Firefly knew this was happening, so interesting that he left they didn't bring the Void Ray home, I guess, or leave it at home.
No. And it's actually going to be Blink that he's transitioning into here. There's the drop of the mines. Will they get to burrow? Yes, they will. Very nicely done. Oh, are you kidding me?
Oh my god. Oh, tell me this medevac does not survive. Oh my. This is very good for the Terran. That thing's not going to get caught by the Void. It's going to have boost again in a second. If he's paying attention. He's in the driver's seat. You can see the red circle. See ya!
Oh, so close. And that mine just barely doesn't burrow there. Nice try from XY, but he does keep that medevac up alive, which is really the juicy part of that.
Oh, this is so big brain from XY. He knows he can beat the Void with Stutter Step. So sick.
Can he?
Oh, Prismatic Alignment, though. Man, the Void Ray is a good unit, Zeph. I'll tell you what.
Very cool idea, though. I really liked that. And that medevac has made it safely home, and Firefly back on the offensive, looking to put on some pressure now that Blink is finished. There's a lot of defense at the front of the natural for XY, but up towards the main, there's not really anything. And in fact, he's moving out right now down towards this third base location.
I don't know about this move out from Firefly. I'm not sure what he's hoping to accomplish here. I mean, luckily for him, XY is moving out with the tanks, but that was a weird Blink. He's going to eat some Stalker damage here.
Did he snipe the Raven?
I think he might have gotten the Raven.
Yeah. Bit unfortunate there. But he picks up and drops into the main in preparation for that Void Ray swinging around. And it is trying to find an angle here. Gonna zap that command center that's building.
And no stim, so he has to walk under the Void Ray and gun it down. And, ooh, the Void does go down. Get some hit points on that third. XY, though, no cancel. He's got the Eye of the Tiger. He's got no fear. He's just keeping the SCV, keeping it to work. And now, with the Void dead, breathes a sigh of relief. Less harassment now. Only thing he's got to worry about is attacks via the ground and potential Warp Prism in the next couple minutes.
Yeah. Got a nice little setup here, so hopefully he's well defended against any skirmishes from Firefly. Firefly back at home, though, just so close to getting +1 in charge already, and then he can definitely think about taking some fights again.
Do you know what I want to see from XY here, Zeph? I want to see him be assertive. He's taking some good trades here. He's gotten rid of the observers. He's picking off stalkers. Firefly's being a little YOLO with his units. I want to see XY push with his upgrades. I want to... Yes, Queen. Thank you, XY. Do it. You're a strong, independent Terran. Don't take gaff from that Protoss. Get out there. Whee!
Yes, King. Go off.
Yes, King. Oh my god, XY, I just found your crown. Put it back on.
Do you stand? Do you stand
I stand
XY? Right
XY fan. My king. Get out there. Do it. Oh, this Warpin's going to be gnarly. There is not a whole lot of bio in the main. No, XY!
This is what he gets for listening to you, Maynard.
Yeah, I know. He tried to be assertive, but Warp Prism in mains are bad. It's a tough pill to swallow.
And when you see stuff like this, you can understand why some Terrans prefer to sit at home.
It's like, I should never have moved out. I'm going to total for the next 50 TVPs that I play. But no one won't hurt me like this.
This damage is insane from Firefly. Yeah. He's got the game in the bag already, really. Like 30 SUVs are dying. What are you going to do from here, man?
Yeah, I mean, even if the Prism dies and all the Zealots die, it actually does not matter until... Oh my god, that thing survives. That's just...
Salt in the wounds.
I mean, if this wasn't... If it was... It's a tournament game, so I get why he's still here, but I would have F10'd end. And queued up the next game in a bit of a huff. Shall we say. Like, the problem for XY here is that the counterattack is now going to do a lot less damage because XY's had time, or rather Firefly's had time to solidify static defense down here to probe this location up. They have plenty of power with those pylon power fields. He's got to look at the army here. You know, the army of XY is still powerful against what he's up against, but we have, I think, a Robot Bay finishing up, also Dark Shrine on the way here for Firefly. So there's a lot of tools for the Protoss, and a good number of charge loss really shuts this down.
If he holds, he wins. And XY has a really nice position. Like, he's taking it easy, using the Liberators and the tanks to get the best position possible. This is a largely gateway army, so if he can get a favorable engagement, he could still steamroll forward and start doing some damage, but we've got Disruptors in the mix. We had some DTs warped in there. He actually hasn't noticed that base, has he? Oh, he's seen it now, surely. Start putting some damage on there. And Firefly exercising a lot of patience here, not getting too ahead of himself and trying to crash into this.
I think Firefly knows that if he's just patient, he gets another warp-in round or even waits for the Disruptor, he can crush this. I mean, the worst case scenario for Firefly is that he gives up the 4th or loses it, and I think that's completely fine. Like, he's still going to be up 14 workers as the dust settles. Disruptor's here, let's go. Bring in the charge loss from the north, bring the Disruptor from the left. Charge lots and DTs from the south. Let's give him a big old Protoss sandwich. He's the bread and the Terran's the meat. Oh, tell you what, that bio at the bottom there, a lot of DPS. And the DTs hacking and slashing.
DTs are so gross, man. Oh, what an unreal engagement for Firefly. Absolutely crushed that.
3 angles.
XY did the best he could, but damn, Firefly.